Sweet, sweet Jamaica. Have you ever considered migrating to the mystical island of Jamaica? Join me, Michelle Moore, and special guests as we explore the world of Jamaica with those at home in Jamaica and those away in the diaspora, right here on the Home and Away Show. Hi, this is your host, Michelle Moore, and thank you for listening. Thank you to my new listeners. I hope you love the show. And thanks to my frequent listeners. I really appreciate your love and support. Now, if you want to go that little bit further and show your support, you can visit my website, michelledmore.com. There's a donate button. Feel free to donate any amount you wish. You know, every person has a story, and every story is unique. And what I find fascinating is that when people have a challenge or trauma in their lives, to hear and see how they've overcome adversity and created an opportunity or tapped into a passion that they love and are now living a successful and happy life. This week's guest has a very special story, very touching actually. He was born in the UK, migrated to Mandeville. He certainly has a lot to say and, oh my gosh, has so much to give. So I'd like to welcome him to the show. So Naphtali Emeka Berhane, welcome.
Greetings, sis, and blessed love.
Thank you. Did I pronounce your name right?
Yes, you did. It's Naphtali Emeka Berhane.
Okay, lovely. And can you explain how this name originated? Where did it come from?
All right. Naphtali, first, is one of the 12 tribes of Israel from biblical times. Emeka is a Nigerian name, which means I give thanks to God, which was given to me by my Nigerian friends when I was in my teens. And Berhane is an Ethiopian name, which means my light.
Right. So you got a good mix in there. So does that define you as a person?
Yes, I think it does. To a certain extent, yes.
Wow, in terms of your story, you have had quite a roller coaster ride in your life, haven't you?
Most definitely, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm glad you found me. And I'm glad that you're here today to tell us more about your story and your journey. Where should we start? So you were born in Streatham, South London.
That's right, born in Streatham, South London. And I guess in 1975, the family, we started revisiting Jamaica. You know, that was my first experience of Jamaica anyway. You know, and after that first experience, I thought, you know, I love Jamaica. Every summer after that, we'd come to Jamaica for holidays.
Right.
So, you know, that's where it first started.
So you were like 5 years old at the time when you first went?
Yeah, 5 years old at the time when I first came to Jamaica. I had my first birthday here, which was good. Yeah, pretty exciting at that time.
And quite an experience compared to out here, especially being so young. Do you still remember it? Do you remember way back then?
I remember I can remember little things like being around my family. Remember the day. I have a little old photograph of it, and when I kind of look at the photograph, I kind of can remember certain little things that happened around that time.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah.
So again, being so young, you also went through the tragic separation of your parents. Your parents divorced and your dad migrated to Jamaica?
Yeah, my dad left and came back to Jamaica to do his business, his auto parts business. So my elder brother, elder sister and myself, we were in England with my mum.
Right.
Yeah. And then, you know, in the 80s, she decided to come back to Jamaica for us to come and live.
Right. So she took you and your siblings at that time. You all went together?
Yeah, we all went together at that time, yeah.
All right. So how old were you then?
I was about 13 at that time.
Okay. So about, your first year in secondary school in Jamaica?
Into the second year of school at Manchester High School.
And how was that fitting in?
It was it was hard at first, you know, because people was making fun of the accent and you know, it was mostly to do with the accent, and that was a little bit had a bit of weight on at that particular time. So if it wasn't my weight they were making fun of, it was the accent they were making fun of, you know.
I see. So did your other siblings go to the same school as well?
My sister did. My brother is older, so he went to work down there with my father's business place was in Porus.
So at least you had some support from your other sibling.
Yes, yes, yes. My sister was there and she kind of watched over me some of the time to make sure I didn't get into trouble and
Yeah.
stuff, you know.
So what happened from there? So you settled in. Jamaica's now your new home. So you and your family sort of getting together, and you were able to see your mum and dad in Jamaica because they're both there at that same time, right?
Yeah, they were there at the same time. What happened is when my mum eventually came to Jamaica, we moved because we was originally staying with my father for about a year until my mum came back. So then we went to live with my mum. Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of shuffling around. How was that as being so young, a young child? Not just migrating, but growing up at such a young age as well, a sensitive time of your life. What was that like?
I mean, some of the time it was like a pretty rough some of the time. Like you're moving from here to there and you're from one country to another, leaving your friends to another place. But at the same time, there was a little bit of excitement in there with being in Jamaica, you know. So as well as that, it was still fun. And I think being at that age, you don't really too worry about those kind of things. Well, at that time, I didn't really worry. I think my sister was more troubled, you know.
And I guess you being young, you're just kind of running free and letting your older siblings take care of you and the situation as well.
That's right.
So did you get up to any trouble?
um,
I'm sure you weren't all innocent at the time.
Not really. I didn't get into any trouble more than anybody else. I didn't wasn't really a type to give trouble. You know, I was good enough, I guess.
All right. Considering all the moving around and the being unstable, as it were, you felt that you were quite stable in yourself at the time.
At the time, yeah, I thought I was pretty much okay, you know.
So it took a slight turn when your mum sadly passed away.
Yeah, right. In 1985, we went back to the UK because things wasn't really working out for my mum and stuff, and it was a bit harder than she anticipated. So she went back, then we followed.
Okay.
She passed with going through a battle of having cancer for about 11 years or so.
That's a long, long time. Long time.
Yeah, she went for quite a while, but because she kept on working and she was a type of woman that would even help people when she's not at work. She was a nurse,
Okay.
a district nurse. So even her days off, she'd still go and look for her patients when she should have been resting. That type of woman.
Amazing. Always on the go and looking after family as a single parent at the time as well.
Definitely, yeah. So that was at that particular time, my mind wasn't really where it was supposed to be. So I ended up leaving, and that's when my life took another turn. Yeah, because I had a guy that I met, a friend who was going through similar pains as I was. His sister had passed, and so we were kind of close. We were moving kind of close, but his movements weren't too straight.
Yeah.
You understand? And I could see it heading in a direction, but at the same time, I couldn't take myself out of that direction because I was depressed. I wasn't happy. I thought my world was gone to me, when my mum passed. So I wasn't really in the right frame of mind anyway. So,
Yeah.
I ended up following him somewhere, and it ended up ending up being incarcerated, for the first time of my life,
And that was in the UK.
That was in the UK.
And how long were you locked away for?
It was a 3-year sentence, but I did a year and a couple months and got parole and came out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was going through your mind at that time? Obviously, the loss of your mum and everything. What made it so destructive for you, and what were you going through?
I know from when she was gone, because we were so close, because I was the last child in the house with my mother as a teenager. So, and she was like my best friend. I could talk to her about anything, and when she went, the world was gone. I just didn't know what to do. I was lost. I was actually lost. And, when I met this guy, me and him, good friends and stuff, but I felt that I was on a destructive path. So obviously I wasn't earning any money anymore. I'm just up and down the place, up and down every day, not really caring, really business about what happened anyway. As much as I had a little faith in me still, I think the depression overweighed that.
Yeah.
Things just ended up getting from bad to worse. And the incident with me and this guy, it's like I actually saw it happening but could not take myself out of it, and I just thought to myself, we look at things as bad things sometimes, but I think it was a good thing that I actually went.
Something that you went through, right? Because sometimes you have to sort of fall down to pick yourself up. You have to find that dark place in order to see the light, you know?
Yeah, I think I needed to just be still. I think I needed that time to reflect on what I was doing, you know. Yeah, sometimes we don't think, yeah, that's the place we want to do it, but who knows what the spirits have planned for us in that way.
Right.
So to tell you even the truth, that was even my first experience of reading books on Black history and stuff like that. Reading Malcolm X's biography and him saying he put prison second to college. If you're willing to learn, you have the time to learn.
Very true.
Yeah. So I used that time to read, read. And then I realized, you know what? I need to start back my art.
Yeah.
I need to start again,
Because you hear of so many people that have found themselves in prison and then they come out and their life evolves in a completely different direction and they're this highly successful person in whatever way. And it makes you think, what is it? What happens to their mind at that time?
Right.
Because the books that you found there, they're not the only place. Prison isn't the only place where you're going to find books about Malcolm X.
Exactly.
Books on religion or whatever it may be that you come out with. So I think it's a sign to say, sometimes we have to just press that pause button.
Right.
In this vast world that we're living in with so many distractions, and just find that zone within yourself and allow yourself to connect with yourself spiritually, find out your purpose and really evolve as a person, because it takes more than just, you know what I mean, or 5 minutes out here and there or something in the morning or something in the evening. You had all that time to just focus on you.
Definitely.
So you came out, and how did you feel coming out after absorbing yourself with all this information? How was your mindset after the time you spent inside?
My mindset became a militant in a sense of in realizing about my history, about who we are as a people, and so I was more within myself as an African man. I was more strong myself, knowing who I was, feeling even more proud of myself and thinking that there's things that I need to do, So came and I started in my energy in my artwork. But I was finding out that I was being not really stimulated the way that I wanted to be stimulated in the UK. With the images that I wanted to paint, the things that I wanted to see. So I ended up coming back to Jamaica.
I see.
1993, I decided to take a trip to Jamaica, say, all right, then see how things is going on.
Okay.
I came out and I thought, boy, you know what? Jamaica's nice, I prefer the greenery. I prefer the sea. I prefer the sunshine. I prefer all of these things. I function better. So I thought to myself, I'm going to come back again next year. Came back again 94. 1994 was the first exhibition I had in Jamaica with my artwork.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was, it was a nice little exhibition for people to actually start seeing me out there. It was really good. I had a little radio interview at the time, which was nice. And every year since that I've learned to this art fair, Mandeville Art Fair, which is really good. So, I noticed things was more relating to my soul and plus with ideas for work to do. So in 1995, I decided I'm going to come home for good, work with my father and do my artwork at the same time. But working with my father, didn't really work out so much because he wanted me to just concentrate on his things and not
his business.
Yeah,
right.
Art wasn't really proper to him. So you know what I mean. So in a way, I kind of really did put down the artwork for a long time until it came to a head, and I decided, look, I can't stay doing this because I'm unhappy. An artist friend that I have introduced me to a principal of a school. I ended up getting a job in Kingston teaching. Even though I didn't have teaching for qualifications, the principal gave me a try. For the next 7 years, I ended up teaching at that school.
7 years?
Yeah, I ended up teaching there 7 years and got good, even some CXE passes from out of my students and stuff like that. So it was a beautiful experience that I had.
Isn't it? that's why it's such a wonderful place for me spiritually, but also to enable you to spread your wings and get wrapped up in opportunities just like the one you said. Because if you were in the UK, there's no way you could have, unless you did voluntary work.
Right.
I'd find it very hard for you to have gone to any school or establishment and say, could you offer your services as a teacher? You know, they want to see those qualifications.
That's right.
And go through several checks and stuff. So I know what you mean. You know, being in Jamaica, you can explore your mind, capabilities, opportunities. And I mean, 7 years?
Yeah,
wow.
7.
I'm sure that was a phenomenal experience.
It was because the school as well was mostly for children who had already been expelled from schools or been sent back from United States or wherever, and they came to this school. So
Okay.
you know, there's children that people normally would say is bad behaving or troubled children, but to me, children that needed the right person to teach them or to, you know, have that that dialogue with them, you know, because some of the time they're not really bad. It's just, you know, experiences, life, your environment, you know, creates a certain sense imagery on some of them sometimes, so it's not really them. So I found it more how can I say, it was more enlightening for me dealing with those children than those you would say are normal, well-behaving children. Then,
Excellent.
you know, it was a nice experience, man. You know, I love working with children as well.
Jamaica means a lot to me. Coming like heaven. It's part of me. The connection, the people, the culture, the vibe is just amazing. Like nowhere better than here. Like them saying Jamaica. Love it.
Jamaica means home, a place that contains a melting pot of dynamic culture. It also has dynamic people, which are fun to be around, and just to be a part of a whole entire family.
Jamaica to me means history, culture, and paradise. I love everything, the people, the food, the way of life, the greenness of the island, the sea. I love the way of life in Jamaica more than anything.
I like the sunshine, I like the smile on the people's faces, I love the laid back attitude. Yes, I love the music, I like the people. Jamaicans I have met, in many ways they're like Scottish people.
Jamaica means some of the most interesting people in the world, the home of the greatest music in the world, and oh yes, the best food in the world. What better than ackee and saltfish or potato pudding baked on a coal stove? Nothing nicer than a nice roasted yellow heart breadfruit. So Jamaica means all those things and more.
Oh, Jamaica means the world to me because that's the land of my birth. So it means a lot to me, and that's a place where I would never forget. If it's good or it's bad, it's my home. Mish, I'm not only hearing it.
So, Andrew Mark McLaughlin.
Yeah.
AKA Naphtali Emeka Berhane.
That's right.
Great. See, I'm getting there now. Practice makes perfect, eh?
And I did make sure I changed my name by deed poll too, so.
I see. Good.
Yeah.
So, after that experience, you sort of quit your dad's business or his work, the focus on him.
Yeah.
And I guess that desire of wanting to pursue art, it just kept knocking.
Definitely.
And I think that's what it is. When you found your purpose or you've tapped into it, no matter what you do, where you focus your energy, it's always going to come back to what your divine purpose is in this life. And that's exactly what happened to you.
Definitely, I feel so, sis. Definitely, because right now, art is what I do here, and it's what I live off here. Whereas, no, if I was in the UK, I would most probably be having to work in something else to support my art.
Right.
You know, art is good, and it's not. You know, with art, you may sell a piece of work, you might not sell another one for another 6 months, maybe or so, pending. But because of the flow and the vibe of Jamaica, right, you are able to survive.
Yeah. And sometimes it's the simplicity of life, isn't it?
Right.
Because we don't have, I mean, it depends how you're living in Jamaica, but you can choose not to have certain things you may have thought were a vital or necessity to you before living in the UK.
Right.
And you can still have the same life, even a better quality of life, but you're shuffling around your priorities, your wants from your needs, and you look at yourself and you think, you know what, I can do this.
Very true, sis, because even where the people, them that place I stay, I don't own a stove. I cook on my wood fire. I love my wood fire. You
Nice.
understand? I don't have pipe. It's rainwater I live off.
Wow.
You know, so, and I have all my flowers, and that is how I love it. You know, the birds, the bees, all kind of, you know, stuff around me.
Yeah.
You know, the city life I'm not too much fond of, really.
I think for me, it's the noise, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Noise and distraction, and like you said, that the nature and the countryside of living, and back to basics sometimes. Although you may still be able to live a bit more flamboyant or whatever, sometimes it's just that spiritual feeling of being able to utilize or maximize your life in a way just by living, basically.
Right.
It's like self-satisfaction, you know what I mean?
Very true. Very true, sis. Very true. Because right now, to how I live, I think, boy, I'm all right. You know, I'm just nice. You know, the less you acquire is the less problems you have. The less you have to think about too.
Exactly.
I'm just trying to keep it simple at the moment, you know, put all of my energy into the artwork. Just love to bring back the love through art. Yeah.
So what is it that you feel when your mind is focused on a piece of artwork? Where does it take you? How does it feel?
Sometimes I don't even feel like it's me. I've had the experience of starting a picture, a painting, and you know, I had a vision in my head of how this painting was going to look then. On starting the painting, yeah, it started off fine, but in between painting doing the picture, certain feelings arose. Then I just found myself painting. And the next minute was daylight, and I heard the birds, and I saw a finished picture. And I thought to myself, whoa. And I just sit down, just look at it, and I just say, boy, you know what I mean? It's a gift. I didn't realize, I just looked at it and I thought to myself, boy, you know what I mean? I finished this in one night. I check it and I think to myself, sometimes, you know, I just wonder if it's really me doing this, you know, just, I don't know. Sometimes I don't even know how to explain it. I was in England once and I was doing a painting, you know, one of our African ancestors called Ogun. When I was doing this painting, all of a sudden I heard crying, you know, weeping and moaning, a whole heap of crying and, you know, stuff like that. And actually I had to stop the painting because I actually started to cry within myself. I just felt so emotional over this piece of work that I just had to cover it up and leave it and put it one side. And I never started to paint it again until maybe a couple months after. You know, I know it's just not imagery. I know a lot of this has to do with a lot of spiritual connection, you know, messages. You know, that's why I love when I know art is pretties up a wall sometime, but some of my paintings, I would like the people to feel what I was feeling whilst I was painting that picture, or they can understand. When they look at it, they say, yeah, you know, that's exactly how I felt.
So do you feel that having gone through all the challenges and dramas of your life, from, you know, your parents separating, losing your mother at a young age, being incarcerated twice, all of that turmoil and trauma in your life has enabled you to kind of dig deep and turn your life around in some crazy way, and now touch on the fact that you were gifted to express your life in your words, and also anybody else's lives that capture your mind and express that in your artwork. Do you really think that you've gone through that to enable the world to see your gift in your art?
Truly I do, because you know, I just think I was being prepared. You know, as much as when you're in your sufferations, you'll be screaming and crying and wondering why you are going through such turmoil. But now that I can see it behind me, it's like I'm realizing that, you know what? It was to make me that much stronger. It was to make me have that much more experience to put into my work. Plus, it gives me more of that experience that when I do eventually start my own art school, I will be able to do this and impart this knowledge on my students, as well as the little bit of art therapy that I'm getting into, that I, employ that as well. So I think it was truly a preparation for me to be where I'm today, and for where I'm going to be in the future. It's just for me now to stick to the plan.
Well, it's amazing that you've got this far and you can see that all the pieces of the puzzle were there, good or bad, high or low, were there for a divine reason. And like you just said, if you stick to that path and stay focused, you're going to move more mountains than you probably imagined before all of this happened.
Truly.
So you also recognize when you were in prison that there was a lack of education and sort of rehabilitation with the inmates. And that's something you want to tap into as well now?
Yeah, out here it was, I mean, there's things there, the library is a very small place, although I found books in there to read to help me. It's like they were just placed there to help me.
Yeah.
There's a lack of books to read or to inspire. So many go in and they come out worse, and I don't see what if we want the system to change or even try to change it, we have to, obviously you can't send the person out worse than they came in.
Right.
So I'm hoping to, because I met so many artists, so I want to put on hoping to put on an exhibition called Prison Art.
Wow.
Yeah, get some of their work. Obviously, the money they will get their money for the price that they ask for their work. The rest of the proceeds will go back to the libraries or education or literature for the little school that they have there. I mean, it's not really. I just want it that the things are actually there. That there is no excuses to say, well, we haven't the resources, we haven't this. At least there will be something there, a start to get those things, the major things which should operated in the prison system. Reform, re-education, re-enlightening. Edifying black men out here realize that we are better than. Whatever they feel they have to do to survive, we are better than that.
And there is another way.
And there is another way. Truth, there is another way. So this is what I'm hoping to do in the future,
And I'm absolutely sure you will achieve, Just like you said, you've gone through all of that for a purpose. You're a lot more stronger, wiser, conscious, and really ready to make a difference, a bigger difference in other people's lives, not just yours with your artwork as well.
Yeah.
So where can we find your art? Where can people see your stuff?
Well, I work from home basically, but most of my work I have up on the couple social media sites and stuff like that. It's really people can find me in Mandeville.
Mandeville town? Where in Mandeville?
Nowhere specific. I guess if you come up there and ask for Naphtali the artist, people are sure to show you where I am.
Exactly. Jamaica's like, especially when you're going into the town asking for people. Yeah, I'm sure you'll be easy to find.
Yeah, man.
So you wouldn't consider going back to the UK and focusing your art over there and exploring something new in the UK?
Yeah, if the opportunity arises, I would love to, because in the artwork out there and people seeing it. So I would love to come back into the place where I was actually the land of my birth, to come and actually, do something, It would be good. It would be good.
But where do you think you would remain? Where would you call home in terms of residing and living? Do you think you'd come back to the UK to live?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think it. For me, I need the sunshine. I need this green, the concrete, and all of that. The older I get, I'm getting to be more of a person who wants to retreat.
Sit outside in the sunshine under a cool shade.
Yeah,
under some tree.
That's right. So the hustle and bustle of it now, I don't think I can manage it as a thing to say live for another 5, 10, 15 or so years. Come visit, lovely. But Jamaica or Africa.
Have you been to Africa?
Not yet.
One day, sure. And I'm sure you'll be taking your art there as well.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Really inspiring story, and it just shows that people's lives can change completely, 360 degrees, and never really question what you're going through at that time. Just know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and to stay focused and knowing that God has a divine purpose for you.
Definitely. This is just key. It's just you just have to try and keep the faith, and sometimes you remember those who are worse than you.
It's true.
And then you think to yourself, well, it's bad, but it's not that bad. So, every day, and I think to myself, once I wake up every day and I get up and I'm doing, there's hope.
Exactly. As life is a blessing itself.
Yeah, well, this is it, sis,
just to wake up to a new day. Yeah.
That's right.
It's much better if you're waking up to sunshine and a nice cool coconut tree with ackee and saltfish on the plate for breakfast. But yeah.
Definitely. Definitely.
But thanks for sharing your story. Really, really inspiring. Really nice to hear. And I know it's taken you back emotionally as well, but you've come around and I'm sure you're really proud of your success. It sounds like you've only just started, really. I believe you've got more to do and a lot more to achieve, and you're going to be a proud man.
Thanks. I hope I will be able to do that. I just hope that, when I do produce my work, people continue to love my work and appreciate my work and see the messages in my work. Yeah.
Absolutely. So you didn't tell us the Facebook. Do you have a Facebook page with your artwork?
Yes, I do. I have on Facebook with just my name, Naphtali Berhane. So they can click on, see most of my work on there, and get a fair idea of what I do. Because, I have various mediums and so.
Excellent. Okay, and I'll also post some information and links on my website as well. So anybody out there that wants to have a look, get some inspiration from Naphtali,
bless him.
Or even just venture to Mandeville, go and see him in the town. And I'm sure, do you do live portraits? Do you do portraits on the spot?
Well, no, but I can,
Yeah, you could venture into that soon, eh?
Truly.
Never know. Oh, it was really nice speaking to you. Thanks so much.
And give thanks for this opportunity to come and speak to you and to so many people as well. It's a more blessing to me. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Wishing you all the best, and please keep in touch.
Definitely will do that. Let you know the progress and everything, how everything is going on, and definitely, sis. So you do it with the voice, and I'll do it with the images.
Thank you for listening to the Home and Away show. We'll be back soon with more from the series. If you would like to comment, suggest a topic, or be a guest on the show, send an email to radio@michelledmore.com.